Morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Weekly Mastermind. Today, it's all about productivity. So this particular Mortgage Coach educational experience every Friday at 9 o'clock Pacific was born from insane productivity. Myself, Todd Bookspan, we're the two hosts. We have a couple mentors on all of these calls, have all been through Darren Hardy's Insane Productivity Program. And if anybody is ever listening to the recording of this call or listening to this call and you have not been through it, one, you're missing out on one of the best educational experiences you could ever have. And two, there could be some language, some terms, some strategies that we talk about that you don't know about. So we do encourage anybody and everybody that comes to this weekly class to go through Insane Productivity with Mortgage Coach. There's a link at the top of our private Facebook page. So right now on the GoToWebinar, you can see my screen. I will be sharing this throughout the call. Could be pulling up on the website. Right here. But again, this is called Mortgage Industry, where we talk about productivity. As mentors and leaders on today's call, we have Jen Duplessis. Jen, are you still in Las Vegas?
Yeah, I sure am.
Well, thank you for joining us from Las Vegas, and maybe if there's some inspiration or topic that you can bring in from the Mastermind event.
Oh yeah, I definitely could do that today. Yeah, tons of notes.
Cool. Jen, and I know Jen, you listened to last week's recording and you made a video for the community, so I do want to make sure we make that a topic, and that everybody, we put some attention around what we. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. We also have Dave Gallegos. Dave, welcome to the call. Thanks for making time.
You bet.
And then I know Michelle Town was going to try to join us. I don't know if she has. Michelle, are you on the call? All right. So Mastermind call, which means we don't have a formal other than about productivity, identify ideas and strategies to improve our productivity, and to do that. If you would like to, ask a question or propose a topic, you can either post that on our Facebook page. You can post it through GoToWebinar. I do know I want to add a poll question. And Marcy, if you're on this call, I would like to know how many jam sessions people did, last week. So, I would like it to just be kind of the standing way that we start the call with. How many jam sessions did you do last week? 0, less than 2, 2 or less. 3 to 4, more than 5, something like that. But I'd like to start getting a feel for how many jam sessions people are doing on a week-to-week basis. So, Marcy, let me know when that question has been answered. I don't see any hands raised. I don't see any questions in here. But I do see a question that came in from Andrew Adams, who said, would anybody be willing to share how they track their vitals? So we're definitely going to make that a topic. And then I do know we're going to talk about Jen's topic. So we got two topics, how to use CRM to improve productivity and vitals. Dave or Jen, do you have any other topics before we get into anything else you want to make sure we talk about today?
Those are both pretty big topics. That's probably good.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm a little worried we're going to get everything.
Well, because that's a great question, Andrew. That's a great question Andrew asked, and it reminds me of a business coach. Mike White. When Mike White first coached me, he asked me questions like, "How many deals you close in a month?" And I'm like, pretty good amount. And he asked me, how many leads are you getting? And I said, a lot. and his I didn't have an answer. I didn't track anything this was like 3-4 years into the business, and I wasn't tracking anything. I was good at what I did. And he goes, well, how many of the leads you get do you convert? And I go, if somebody's getting a loan, I do the loan. He goes, how do you know that? And I go, well, because I don't know, I just know. And I didn't know, I just thought I knew. And so that was the beginning. I'd already had a CRM for a while, and then we started to build out ways that we could track all of that data. And today, it's far beyond, that was, I don't know, 16, 17 years ago. And today we get a report every morning on the leads from the day before, the number of credit pulls, the number of appointments that were held or sits, but it's a big thing to, and you can't do it all at once. I guess my advice to somebody who's not tracking anything would be start with leads and track leads. Just track how many leads are you getting, how many convert into credit pulls, and how many. That's how we would do it. And because that's a huge question, and to get into all of it would take. But we're doing all of those ratios, so leads to credit pulls, leads to closed loans, credit pulls to closed loans, pre-approvals to closed loans. So it's tracking, and the thing I would tell you to do is track the first thing that you want to measure. But that's a huge question, I guess, is the thing.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. I mean, since you already started talking about it, Dave, let's start with that. I'm not going to let this conversation go more than 20 minutes, but I do think it's a big enough topic that we do talk about it for 20 minutes. And then, Jen, we will transition from, metrics, what are the metrics, how are you effectively tracking them, into CRM, and then we'll see what else comes up. And then ask another question or stack the deck. Raise your hand. Or post. Also, I do want to shine a light on the fact that I did a Skype interview with Todd Duncan this last week, and then I also did a full, 1 hour interview with Todd. It was called Sales Secrets for the Digital World, and he talked about, from a high trust perspective, what are the 5 core metrics that he tracks and that he has all his clients track, and I will pull those up at some point. But Dave, I'm gonna have you riff on 2 things. And try to net this out in 5 minutes, and then Jen, you try to follow up with your 5 minutes. But one, what are the 3 to 5 things that you're tracking? And then, so we make sure we're responsive to Andrew. How are you doing it in a way that's effective and consistent? And that is the essence of his questions. So you're right, Dave. You got 5 minutes with what are you tracking, and how are you tracking them effectively? Okay, rock it out. And I'll share this because we built this report out, so I'll send everybody what this looks like in our system. But so our CRM tracks leads. It tracks, so when somebody gets a lead, it goes into so the first thing you have to do, and the first thing that I was taught was every name goes in the database. If you're not going to track lead, that's the only way you can track it. You can't do this manually. So every name has to go into a CRM. You got to capture every opportunity, and just as an aside, capturing every opportunity and then following up. Chris Smith's interview, by the way, last week was like phenomenal. I shared it with the entire group, and talking about you follow up until they buy or till they die. I mean, that's an old sales term, but you just follow up. There's so much money in the database. But we track leads, and then when a loan officer makes contact with a borrower and converts the lead, and we're all referral based. We're a referral. We're a purchase-focused company and referral business. So we get all of our leads from referral partners or from clients in our database that refer us or come back to us. So then we track, the next stage in the sales process is, did we convert that lead from an inquiry to a credit pull, meaning we got enough information and we think that there's a good enough reason that we should run the credit, right? And then we schedule, and if it's a pre-approved buyer, if it's a buyer for a pre-approval, then the next step in the process is either scheduling an appointment, either an online appointment or a face-to-face appointment, depending on what the client's preference is, and to issue, so that we can issue a full loan pre-approval, because we just do full document pre-approvals, so we guarantee 100% pre-approval to closing ratio by doing that. So those are the first 4 stages in our sales funnel that we measure, and we just measure it because those are different statuses or status descriptions. We use Cimarron, and again, I would echo what Dave said last week. Dave Savage said last week, which is the best CRM is the one you're going to use, and so and master. I would add that you have to master your CRM. You can't just. This is such an integral part of your business that not mastering it you'll be a poor performer, and then the next thing, obviously, that we track is people that go under contract. So we're always measuring how many pre-approved buyers an individual loan officer has, because for us in mortgage, that is similar to a listing for real estate agents. So I'm a big fan of the Keller Williams series of books, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and
Shift, which were both huge influential books for me in the way we built out a lot of our systems and our processes. And that was really when I designed a very formal sales funnel that everyone could follow, because once I designed it, it was easy to train it. And then, so we're always measuring how many pre-approved buyers somebody has. I'm looking at one of my guys' reports. Got 24 pre-approved buyers right now, and the average length of time those pre-approved buyers have been in the database in a pre-approval status is 74 days. Starting to get a little long there, but I'm in a very hot housing market right now, and sometimes it's taken longer. So that's on the buyer side, and then obviously when they go under contract and they get locked in, we're measuring that. And then our report just shows all that data of, you know, how many loans are scheduled to close. It's a one-page report. I wanted to make it as simple to follow as possible. And then just a little further back at the front end of that sales page.
Dave, I want to make sure you break a few things down so everybody really does here.
I was trying to get everything in 5 minutes, so go ahead.
I know. I just want to break a few things down. So, you know, if you want to be effective and consistently managing, they need to go into a CRM. So, you know, we got that. And then it's also this, you know, manual document that people are providing. You're going to put it in the Facebook group. So, did we get that right?
I didn't. You're cutting out, and so I didn't know. I'm not quite sure what you asked me.
Darn it. You're going to share the one-page document?
Yes.
Is that right?
I will share the report. That I'll get a generic version of it, but I'll share without a loan officer's name on it, obviously. But and then we track all those conversion ratios for them, and you know, the leads to close, the credit pulls to closed, the purchase versus refinance, you know, volume numbers, average loan amount, all of that stuff. And a loan officer doing this for himself, you certainly can. You want to really find a company that's like convinced that. I mean, I'm not trying to, like, this isn't a recruiting thing. I mean, just doing this on your own, I have found is very, I'm sure Jen will back me, it's very time consuming, and that's what makes it so, that's what make it so difficult to do on your own. You can do it, but it's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do. So if your company supports it, the company really should support it, because it's just, there's so much more to be gained in terms of leveraging it for a lot of people instead of trying to build it out yourself. But obviously, you know, those are the basics of what we track. We also track at the very, very front end of the sales funnel how much, you know, referral partner prospecting a person's doing. So, and it's really for their own benefit. So you know, how much, you know, realtor first appointments have you done month to date and year to date? Strategy sessions, which is like the second appointment, month to date and year to date. And so just as a way to, you know, measure, you know, because we all know that having a great referral partner doesn't mean, you know, it's not necessarily always an annuity that'll, you know, last you your entire career. So people leave the business, people say the best, you know, our best producers are always prospecting for new business. They never stop that process. And so we just gave them another metric to keep track of to be able to do that. And again, they get a report every morning, and we used, you know, Dave, we use, you know, this because you're a user as well, is Motivity is the, it's a tracking software. So we really, our loan officers use three things. The loan officers don't really do anything in Motivity, but Cimarron and Compass, they communicate, so there's not any double entry, or as little double entry as is necessary. And then all of that, then we built Motivity to track the data. We can get a lot of that data out manually in our database, but using Motivity has given us the ability to merge the two tools, Encompass and Cimarron, to give us a single report that we don't have to go to two programs to get one report. So
got it. All right, let me break some things down. Hopefully I'm not breaking up too much. I don't know why I am. First of all, a call out to everybody in the community. If you have a scorecard that you're using, if it's, you know, something that you can share as a digital file, please share that on our Facebook group. Either add it as a comment to Andrew's question here. Again, you can add a photo, or make it a post. You know, make a post, and again, you can add a file to a post. or add a picture. So either take a picture, add a file. Let's collect as many daily and weekly scorecards as we can collect. Also, Dave, you said something, about, hey, having branch support. If your branch manager, supports you and is a great accountability leader, great. But I would say if he's not or she's not, oh well, you need to have one. So, you can hire a coach to be an accountability partner. My answer to Andrew and to really anyone is so far there's no one system, one app, one CRM. I can tell you that right now. There's no one magic pill that makes it easy and simple. But I do know of a lot of people that do it, whether it's old school, filling it out, whether it's using the CRM so effectively and consistently that it presents a report. And if you're not doing it, hire someone to hold you accountable or get an accountability partner to do that. So I do ask for as much engagement from the community and as much sharing as possible. Jen, I will hand it off to you.
Can I just say before Jen, before you go, can I just add, because I've got my pen in my hand because I'm going to write down everything Jen says. But the one other thing that Darren talked about, and I think I referenced this when I did my video for Module 8, is that Darren used to talk about his stopwatch, right, where he would track, actual productive work. And the first time he did it, he went all day. And when he was a real estate agent, right, he would turn on the stopwatch when the people opened the door, and he would turn it off when they didn't, and he'd walk to the next house, like when he was door knocking. We developed something similar to that as well, and anyone could do this, where you assign a point value to all of the work that we know you do every day. So we created a scorecard like that, we call it our stopwatch report. And I think if I'm not mistaken, you guys have it. But if you don't, I'll upload another one of those as well, because Todd Bookspan asked me for a copy of it, and I sent it to him back when we first did that. But we just did a stopwatch report similar to that. So making, outbound phone calls are worth a point value. Doing a new client intake, which is like a a lead conversion phone call, has a point value. A meeting with a real estate agent for the first time had a point value. A strategy session, the second meeting, had a point value. So we created point values for all of that, and especially for newer people, once they first get going, we developed a stopwatch report for them so that they could just grade themselves daily on their daily productivity. So and then we don't manage that for them, they manage that themselves. They're just keeping track of it as they're first getting their business going. But it's a great way to start the process of just a stopwatch report, which is a really good idea. When we heard that from Darren the first time we heard it, I was like, that's a really good idea, we could develop that. And so we did. But anyway, I just wanted to add that. Now I want to hear what Jen says, so I'm writing.
Wait, before you go, I did want to add to the topic. I did an interview with Coach Mike White years ago, but it was all about how to turn prospecting into a game. And I know he's coached you over the years. I did put a link to that because this particular call was just all about that: keeping score, tracking it, turning your prospecting into a game. Also,
now that you say that, we took his old report card and we incorporated it into the stopwatch system. So that's I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. So we're giving you some ideas, some resources, and then, like I said earlier, when I interviewed Todd Duncan, literally this Monday, he shared his metrics. He talked about how he scorecards them. So you're getting a lot of leadership here. Jen, I do want to transition to your CRM video within the next 5-10 minutes, but why don't you take a run at what are the key metrics and how you recommend people measure them?
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Dave, for that nice comment, but it always puts a little pressure on me. I think I want to step back just a little bit and say that, developing the metrics for tracking leads is great, and of course I do it, and I'll explain that in just a moment, but it really starts by knowing your numbers, and we hear this a lot, you've got to know your numbers, but in order to be able to start tracking, you have to know what your goal is in tracking. Is how many leads do you want? It's not enough just to track leads, Because if you're only getting one every month, great, you're tracking it, but you know, you got to have a goal. So I think that in order to measure anything, I have to know what the goal is that I'm trying to measure. And as we're talking about these scorecards, and I too will push mine up there, I've got a tracking Excel document. I'm not sure if I can get the whole document up there, but I've got a tracking Excel document that has 4 or 5 different ways to track, because I do so much coaching and so much training that, you know, I want to make sure that it fits everyone's style and personality. So I have you know, an old Excel spreadsheet that I used to use that I would highlight things green for go and yellow for shopping and red for dead, and I keep that there, you know, for the people that are very simplistic. But I think one, it's got to be visual. You have to visualize it and see it. But so I try to, you know, like this year, for example, my goal is 514 leads, referrals. 514. And that's critical to me because I know what my conversion ratio is, and I know what my average loan amount is. I know what all of these numbers are, so that I can backfill that into the daily and weekly activities. You know, and I love, as you all know, I use Darren's living your best year ever binder, and I have that in my possession constantly, and I look at it every day, and I love the rhythm of it. And that's exactly what tracking does, is it provides you with an opportunity to see the rhythm of what you're doing. So I love the scorecards. I love, you know, that, hey, I got this referral today, you know, from Susie, so now you know where all the referrals are coming from. But I do think it begins with understanding exactly how many referrals you want, so that you can track whether you're on track with these referrals and where you need to ramp it up. So if you're having a week, I was going to say a low week in referrals, you're able to see it almost immediately and know that you're drifting, you know, from your goals. So I think that's really key in that particular arena with the scorecard. On the other side of things, some of the things, just like Dave, I track leads, I track conversions. We have, and you'll see this on the video, which we'll talk about in just a moment with the CRM, but we track active, passive, and credit clients. Now, there's another way to do that too. It's those buying in 30 days, those buying 30 to 90, and those buying over 90 days. So we track all of those so that you can continually nurture those relationships. You know, if you get a referral and you talk to them and it's a great conversation and then you forget about it because you move on to the next one, you're not tracking it. If they call you back when they decide to buy a house, then kudos for you. But if they don't, you probably won't even remember, or you'll wake up in the middle of the night and say, oh my gosh, I wonder what happened to that client. So this is really critical in tracking. So yes, definitely on the leads, the conversions, the appointments. And I want to tell you something. The way that I used to track it, and you'll see this when I send the Excel spreadsheet, the way I used to track it is I actually had an 86% conversion rate when I was meeting a client face-to-face. But when I was talking with them on the phone and didn't have that meeting, my conversion rate went down to 38. And so those types of things tell you how you're going to operate your practice in the future. So it now is a metrics that we measure for loan officers, that when they receive a referral, that they need to be meeting 95% of the time. They need to meet with the client face-to-face, because we know that that will create a higher conversion ratio for them. And so it's a metrics that we're measuring. That's maybe not as hard skilled, but more on the soft skill facet of what we do. So
that's
we're
priceless information right there. That's priceless information right there. Well, honestly, I think it's this type of stuff people don't talk about. That's priceless.
Yeah, it is.
Dave, how did Dave, real quick, this is another thing I've noticed, you know, in my observations of people that perform at a really level. They take good notes, you know, they organize them after the session into what am I going to take action on. So Dave, what is the note? When you said that's priceless information, what did you write down on your pad of paper?
Meeting face-to-face with clients increases conversion. It's not that complicated.
Yeah. Well, by the way, it's not that complicated, but I guarantee you not enough people take action on that. Now, again, I'm not
There's
here
a
to
reason
say
it
everybody.
works too. I mean, and Jen, no, the reason it works is because they're that much more committed. They took the time to meet you.
Oh, the trust
And
factor.
the trust factor
Yeah,
goes to the roof. You get to wow them with the presentation. You probably have,
absolutely.
I mean, you're Duncan trained, right? So you have a whole, there's probably a welcome sign. I mean, there's just,
Yeah.
it's a way to make the customer go, I love her. And they're like, now you're their customer for life. They're your customer for life. So sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
real
absolutely.
quick, guys, before we go off this, because I do want to crush this topic, and I do, again, we're talking about insanely productive, how to be productive. And I'm going to share also a 15-minute meet call I did with Jay Crow on how he has an office meeting. I don't want to have this come off that like, hey, everybody on this call, if you're not having people come into offices and having in-person experiences, you're blowing it, or you can't be extraordinarily successful. You can be. You can have a 95%, phone and internet, have a killer productive practice, but I would just ask everybody to be very intentional about this. And when I interview most loan officers could improve performance and productivity by being more intentional about their in-office experiences and what they do when they are in person with people, whether that's having more in-person experiences or whether that's turning your in-person experience into something more. So I am going to share this, say that this is a requirement.
Yeah, so I wanted to follow up just real quickly. Yeah, I just want to make sure, that we're just talking about, I know what everybody's thinking. They're thinking, I don't want to meet with my clients for an hour and a half. It's such a waste. And you think about your time, your time management. And this is where this came in was, I would hear people be on the phone and they were, getting deals by being on the phone, and I said, well, I don't get them. Everybody's different. Look, we all have a different skill set. So I said, well, I do better when I can meet with them one-to-one. And so for me, it's worth the hour and a half to be able to ensure that 86% of the time I'm going to have that client, that family close a loan with me, rather than having 20 phone calls, right? That, or 30 or 40 or whatever the number is, that don't result in business, in closed business. So, make sure that you're tracking this for you. It's really important. And the reason I say this is I was looking at that and saying, oh my gosh, I only have a conversion ratio of 34% versus in person, 38% versus in person of 86%. The first thing I looked at was, what are my phone skills like? I need to now assess my phone skills before I start going in from a productivity standpoint. Instead of saying, okay, well, I'm going to meet everybody and now I have to just have all these meetings with people day in, day out. Let's assess our phone skills. Is there something that I can do to up-level my phone skills? Where is that happening? And what I did to track that, just like Darren, with his stopwatch, I recorded my phone calls, not the whole recording, just my side of the call, to hear what I was saying, to find out where was I lacking in my skill set in being able to convert that. And now my conversion ratio is substantially higher, still not where I want it to be, because it's not the type of business that I decided I wanted to have. Mine is very high touch and high tech at the same time. So I'm not going to be a call center. I'm just not going to be. And that's my choice. But I want to make sure that, each of these actions and reactions that you take, you want to go deeper into, why is my conversion rate so low? So if you have the flip side and your conversion rate is low because you're meeting with people, you meet with people and your conversion rate is low, then you have to assess your presentation skills, completely, and find out what is it that I'm saying in these meetings that doesn't convert them, and why is it that I'm better on the phone. And maybe that you're low on both sides. And so you really do need to go deeper in this assessment, rather than just, and I've said that when I said it starts from the very beginning. It's not enough just to say that's my number. You have to assess why it's your number and whether you want it higher, and how you could possibly up-level your education to get it higher. Okay?
All right, guys.
So I just want to make sure we got that.
All right. I want to keep this on topic. So one, I want to answer a few questions that came in through chat. For anybody that is not in the Facebook group, you can, look up Insane Productivity with Mastermind and ask to be approved, and I will approve you. Also, want to remind people this call every Friday is for the industry, so feel free to share this with any mortgage friends that you have that you think would benefit from this. It's not just for the mortgage coach loan officer. This is something that we're doing for the entire industry. So feel free to invite your friends and other folks to this both Facebook group and to this Friday call. I feel like we answered more than Andrew's question. I think, although Andrew, I do think we answered your question enough for now. I think we will keep this topic going, and it will probably come up in future weeks. Andrew, if you are on this call and you have some specific that you'd like to get, you can either raise your hand and I could bring you into the conversation. By the way, let's see if Andrew is here. Hey, Andrew, I have unmuted you. Are you in a place where you can talk? One more. All right, I'm going to put you. Again, Andrew, if we've answered it to your satisfaction, let us know. If you want to get in more detail, let us know that too. I also want to push a poll question around how many jam sessions did you do last week? This is a common best practice of insanely productive loan officers. So I know how many people are on the call. I know how many people are voting. Let's get 70% of you voting, including Dave and Jen. Everybody really quick. So far, only 20% of you have voted.
Yeah, I'm not.
Don't worry about it.
I've just called in. Yep, I had 2 jam sessions so far, and I'll have 1 tomorrow on the way home.
So,
I love long flights.
Dave, what about you? How many jam sessions so far for the week?
I've had 2 this week, but one of them was really productive jam session. And what I did, remember I wanted to get back into this call with you guys every week is because I needed to get back into my routines and planning and scheduling the day before. So yeah, I had a couple of days ago, I had 2 back-to-back 90-minute deals. I've never been effective at getting, anything longer than 90 minutes. 90 minutes is difficult for me, by the way, because I'm kind of freaking distraction boy. But I was able to just knock out tons of financial management things that needed to be done. I had gotten a little bit behind because I was gone a bunch in May, but
got it.
So there you go. Sorry.
All right. So no worries. So here we go. 40% of you were at 0. So that's not insanely productive. 50% of you are 1 to 3, which by the way is not.
That's a nice way to say it.
Is not insanely productive, but it's good. And 13% 3 to 5. While Darren recommends 10, Darren recommends 10 a week. We've kind of talked as a mortgage, and 5 is good. 3 to 5, I think, is the insanely productive zone for a mortgage professional. So again, first of all, thank you for everybody that voted. Thank you for being transparent. And this is just another way for us to, this weekly call is to answer questions, have topics, and then also hold you accountable, So please vote. And if you, again, for Jen, who is traveling, she was at Mastermind, the fact that she didn't get 5 in this week, hey, that's fine. That's not a problem. But if you were, in your rhythm and you were working and you didn't hit your goal, well, just know that if you want to be insanely productive, we've kind of established that doing jam sessions is one of the absolute most important thing you can do to being insanely productive. So, guys, let's switch topic. Jen, you created a follow-up video, which one, I would love to see what you did become a theme. Like, I'd love to see other loan officers who are part of this mastermind create a video. Yeah. So why don't we start? And again, I'm going to limit a total of a 10-minute dialogue. Yeah. But why don't you tell us what you created and why? And then I want to close it out with tactically, how did you do it so that we can get other loan officers that are part of this community to create content like this for each other. Do here. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so basically how this came about was I wasn't able to participate in last week's meeting, and I was listening to the replay, and I got a hold of Dave and said, at the end of that phone call, there was a discussion about CRMs, and that we would bring in, some CRMs and have them talk to us about these products. And it made me think that, I really don't want to be pitched by a sales rep at a CRM about all their products. The practical application of any CRM, and again, the best CRM is the one you use. And I thought, well, it might be better if we all just record the use of our individual CRMs. And because I know the tricks and the tips and there's something listed in Salesforce, because that's what I use, Salesforce Jungo. And there's something listed there, and I go, yeah, I really don't use that, and here's why I don't use it. And maybe someone else can say, you know what, I do use it, and here's why, and maybe I can learn from that as well. But I think what happens with the salesperson is they're going to take you down their path and not what we wanted to do. So that was and so of course Dave said, well, hey, that sounds like a great idea. Why don't you do the first one?
Time out. Jen, I want to make sure there's context for everyone. So CRM was a topic last week. We were debating, do we have, leaders from CRM companies come in and tell us best practices. Jen said offline, hey, Dave, I think it would be great if we as insanely productive loan officers shared how we did it. So Jen, I said, Jen, that's great. I'm sold on your idea. Will you lead by example and create a video of how you use it in your workflow? And that's what she's done here. So by the way, guys, This is awesome. Huge gift from Jennifer Duplessis to the mortgage coach community and to the Insane Productivity community. The best way for you to let Jen know that you appreciate it is, first of all, watch it. And if you like it, give her a like. If you have more questions and comments, comment, engage. Go to our Facebook page, consume this content, let Jen know you liked it, and engage questions and topics. So keep it going, Jen, but I did want to make sure everybody connected the dots.
Yeah, that's a big buzzword for me this month, by the way, engagement. It's huge. We get so caught up in working that we're not engaging. So what I did is, so from the tactical perspective here, because that's something else you wanted to know, I use something called freeconferencecall.com. And guess what? It's free. It's actually one of those that's free. Now, mine is $3 a month because I do all my podcasts on there as well, and my coaching calls and stuff. But it's free. It's called freeconferencecall.com. When you go on to that website and you sign up, you can plug your. I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. Plug your earbuds from your cell phone into your computer, and when you get there and you go online and you're starting the recording or starting the call, hit the record button, and then hit the share my screen button, and it will share your entire screen and what you're doing. So you all see me. I'll be talking and I'm clicking around in there to kind of show you, how I use my CRM and how I track things and how, what we do with our PLP, which I've done for many, 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 many years in Jungo. And so it's really good. Now, and I want to just also say something else, regardless of the CRM. If you're a manager or you have an assistant or, a mortgage planner or a partner, I record how to do something on free conference call. I have them watch it, and then I have them ask me questions, and it's always saved so that if they want to learn how to do something again, they can go back to that video. Instead of me going, oh, okay, let me show you how to do it again. So from a productivity standpoint, do it once and don't do it, and then you don't have to do it again. So I just want to dissect that part of it. So that's what I did, is I just shared my CRM, and my hope is that, so for you, Dave, if you're using Cimarron, right? I'd like to see you go through yours and enter.
This is a great idea. This is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
I love this.
Yeah, I went in, I entered a contact. I showed how I enter it, why I have the boxes I have, what I do with the data, how I do a transaction. I showed all of my emails. I've got 71 different points of contact during a purchase transaction. I showed all of the stuff that I'm doing. And I want to see what you're doing, because I may not, I've had Jungo forever. I may not switch from Jungo, but you're going to show me something, Dave, that I'm going to say, oh my gosh, I can't wait, I'm going to implement this.
Yeah, I know.
Pardon?
I wouldn't switch. I'm telling you, I wouldn't switch because
No, I wouldn't switch. No,
it's a
but
conversion. People, and
nugget.
everybody, I think Dave said this last week on the call, you know, starting as new CRM or switching to a new CRM is a freaking
Painful.
lot of, yeah, it's painful.
Took me
It's like a
5
new
years.
LOS. Yeah, it's a new LOS. So don't
Yeah.
switch. God.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I'm going to take one idea or two ideas that you do, and hopefully our community will do this as well. And, you know, take those ideas and implement them. I want to see what you're all sending out and how you're doing things. And you know, that's what we do in our industry. We don't reinvent the wheel all the time. But
so let me
how did I do it?
add a little,
Oh,
real
go ahead.
quick, Jen, real
Yep.
quick. So first of all, to be really clear, the call out, first of all, Dave, you have been challenged. We would love to see how you use your CRM. I do want to, anybody that creates one of these videos,
Where'd he go?
Dave, are you there?
Dave? He went bye-bye. Okay, so until he comes back, yeah, if you do create the video, please, you know, get it posted on our Insane Productivity Facebook page, because we all want to hear what you're doing and how you're doing it. And, you know, you're going to find someone who's using your same CRM and they're implementing it in different ways. And that's a great opportunity for you to see, you know, what you could be doing to make yourself more productive.
What's cool about this is that it is a mastermind.
Now?
Now we can, yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Good. So folks, no selling CRMs, but what we do want you to do is tell us how you're using your CRM. We would like to see videos. Jen's going to tell you how she created this video. And if you do have questions, like I said, engage on Facebook, ask questions and comments, or raise your hand right now and we'll bring you in. I also want to see videos on how you're using Mortgage Coach, whether it's the workflow of how you create a total cost analysis or some of the strategies that you're presenting. So anybody on this call that wants to say, hey, this is a strategy I created with Mortgage Coach, whether it's showing us your workflow or showing us how you're explaining it to a family, I want to start collecting videos of how you are creating TCAs effectively and presenting them effectively, and how you're using your CRM to drive consistent productivity. I mean, we want to help everybody execute faster, so make videos, guys. So Jen, tell us how you made this video.
Well, I already explained how I made the video, so but I'll do it again. It's no problem. Again, I use freeconferencecall.com. Log in, host a meeting. That's what you'll be doing, is clicking on hosting a meeting, and you'll be connected immediately. Plug your earbuds into your computer so that we can hear you clearly instead of doing it as a speaker. And click the record button, click the share my screen button, and everything you say and do on your computer during the time that it's being recorded will obviously be recorded. Immediately when you're finished, when you unrecord and leave the meeting, immediately freeconferencecall.com will let you know that your recording is available. You can download it and share it, get a link. That's probably the best way to do it. Dave, what you're referring to is Fiverr, because I started that recording 3 times and made mistakes. Wasn't saying what I wanted to, so I sent it to Fiverr to have them edit for $5.
So did you hear that, guys? So she had a video. It was in 3 different parts because of technical challenges. She sent it to Fiverr, which we've talked about in previous calls, and for $5, she got it spliced together, posted it. So the other thing I want to say, well,
can I ask Jen a question? Can I ask Jen a question?
Wait, Dave. Wait, hang on one sec, bro. So while this is one tactic and one strategy to record a video, you could use Camtasia. You could use Jing. Like, if I was to create this, I would use Jing. I'm not going to do a sales pitch on Jing, although I do think it's one of those apps that's like less than $50, and it's probably the best $50 I ever spent my entire life. So there's other ways of capturing screens and doing this type of education. Jen shared one. I would use Jing. If you have a way that you'd capture it, do it. But here's the thing, do it. Now go ahead, Dave, ask Jen a question.
Jen, when you, I'm going way back now, when you talked about you were tracking your conversion ratios or closing ratios versus, face-to-face appointments versus phone appointments, Did you ever, and I'm sure you have by now, you're doing, like, when you do a phone appointment, do you use a tool like Zoom or something where you can be on the screen with the customer and the customer can be on the screen and you're doing screen sharing while you're doing a phone appointment? Do you do it like that? Or are you still just all phone and there's no screens going on at the same time?
Yeah, I'm usually just doing all phone and there's no screens, because typically when I'm on the phone, my process is I do a hopes and dreams call for about 15 minutes just to learn what their their buying strategy is. We talk about entrance, maintenance, or holding strategies and exit strategies on that call. Then my mortgage planner does the research, puts together the initial TCA, because they have access to Encompass to draw the doc in, which I'll do that recording, so you know. And then I have I tweak all the TCA, make sure it's the strategy I want, and then I record the video. And so because they've already seen that, this is just a quick phone call it's live. It's a live video. It's live edge. So I don't have a face-to-face there. I've occasionally done that, but I do it with BombBomb. I mean, it's one-sided, but I usually do BombBomb. I do a lot of BombBomb in my process.
When I was still producing, and I don't produce anymore, but when I was still producing, that helped me a ton. That just improved my conversion ratios, because I was tracking it and I'm like, I got to do something better than this, because I'm not getting the same connection. Because at the end of the day, while I would love to meet with it,
Hey guys, I'm going to jump in because I do want to really honor the community. Nicholas has asked a question. I want to make sure before this calls out that we get his question answered. So he had a question: is how do you handle incoming leads that are calling in during jam sessions? It's been one of my biggest issues. I average 3 to 4 incoming leads a day. So, when I see one, I grab it, or I want to grab it. Again, he knows that violates one of Darren's mantras of cutting off communication while in a jam session, but he would like to speak to that. And by the way, Nicholas, high five, brother, for engaging, being new to the community, engaging, asking questions. Thank you. We have talked about that a lot, so there are other calls, and we'll talk about it more. But Jen, would you make a run at that? And I want to make sure we net that out before today's call's over.
Yeah. The key is everything needs to be turned off, just as Darren says. So if you're doing your jam session in front of your computer that has the volume on and you're hearing ding, ping, ding, every time an email comes in, there's a little button on your screen. You don't have to turn your computer off, but there's a little button on your screen to just turn the screen off. So I would do that. I would turn off the volume. I would put my phone on, if you're in your office, I'd put your phone on Do Not Disturb. And as far as your cell phone, it goes in a drawer on silent. That's how you do a jam session. You have got to really, really just focus on, whatever that activity is. Now, if it is something that's on the computer, so like I do a lot of PowerPoint presentations because I speak all over the country, I put my email off. I mean, close down your email so that you're just focused on that one thing. Now, your client, here's the difference. You can be in demand or you can be on demand. It's your choice. If you're on demand, then you're the kind of person, and I get it, because I started that way too, where I'm excited when that phone rings because it means money. But I just don't want to be everybody's beck and call girl. I just don't. So when the phone rings, it doesn't mean I have to answer it. I mean, think about it. When we had the old days of phones, did you walk by that phone in your house that had that long, obnoxious 18-foot cord and pick it up and go, yep, nobody's there? Then walk by again and go, yep, nobody's there, right? It's kind of silly, right? But that's what we do with these crazy phones.
That's funny.
So, is what we do. So, so I would just say, turn everything off and put yourself in a position, position yourself as a professional who is on demand. I mean, in demand, not on demand. If your jam sessions, if you're doing frequent jam sessions the way that Darren wants us to do that, they will wait for that hour and a half or that hour, however long it is. They will wait for it. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's just a fair thing.
Hey, I want to jump in. So, by the way, guys, I actually have to jump off the call. I'll let you and Dave close it out. I want to make sure, Dave gets a chance to answer this. If someone else in the community wants to weigh in and answer, feel free to do it. And then Nicholas, I recommend that you throw this question into our Facebook group, and let's get some feedback around it. And I will make sure that we make this a follow-up topic next week, because while what Jen said is absolutely accurate, let's face it, there are other strategies in terms of how you leverage your team, how you set up your processes, how you create expectations for leads that come in. You know, there's more to it than just shut up. So I want to make sure we nail this question, because it's a big one. But I am going to jump out. David, Jen, if you could, wrap up the call.
Yep.
And everybody, my last thought for me is, we want this weekly mastermind. So every Friday, 9 o'clock Pacific, Mortgage Coach is going to help you be more productive. And so share this. We would love to have more loan officers, whether they're a mortgage coach or not, on this call. We would love to have more mortgage professionals go through and same productivity with Mortgage Coach. We passionately believe that it is the best productivity training a mortgage professional could go through. So invite others. Hope to see you next week. And David, Jen, thanks for all you do. I will let you wrap up today's call.
Thanks, dude.
Sounds good. Thanks. Dave, you're online, right? Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, you'll be able to close out the call, because I won't be able to, because I'm just on the phone. So how about you? What do you do for jam sessions?
Well, when I have to shut everything off, I can't. I'm too distracted. I'm too easily distracted, and I know that. But I'm actually really good at disconnecting. So, but I've gotten really good over the years, because I once had that business coach, Mike White, sit at my desk with me. I'm not making this up. And I wanted to punch him in the mouth, because what he pointed out to me while I was working was how inefficiently I worked. But I paid him to sit there and watch me so that I could become more productive. And I mean it, I wanted to punch him in the mouth. But because he kept telling me, no, finish that. And he actually made me, and I do this today. This is true. I still do this today. I have a sticker over the button on my phone that lights up when there's a message. I have a sticker over it, because if it's lit, I'm like, oh, I wonder who called. And so it's just the dumbest. It's just and so these are the discipline things. What I was going to add when you were talking, it just reminded me, everybody kind of goes through this, and then some people evolve out of it. I've met producers, so the people that struggle with this, I've met people that have been producing loans for 10, 15 years, and they still struggle with the idea of always being available. And my response to everybody who goes through that has always been the same. It's like, look, if you're in an appointment with a borrower, and they're in your office and you're meeting with them face to face, do you ever interrupt that appointment for a lead? Of course not, because the customer's sitting right across from you. So why, when that lead, so when you've blocked, what the idea behind time blocking is really that, right? So you would never interrupt an appointment. Like, how do you go to the doctor? How do you go to the dentist? You make an appointment and you don't do anything while you're sitting there. Well, so when it comes to blocking time for any activity, that's all you have to think. You have to adopt that mentality that just says, I'm doing this now, and I can't eat while my teeth are getting cleaned. I can't do those two things at the same time, and it's okay. So if you block time to do something and you get a lead, then you'll follow up with the lead when you're finished with that thing, because if you were working on one lead, you couldn't work on the second lead. So it's just a understanding that rarely is it that urgent that you have to drop everything. I've learned that it's rarely that urgent. It's usually us and not them. Now, if you're getting internet leads, I guess that's probably, Jen, we don't do that here, so I'm not, that's probably
we don't either.
So that's probably a different answer.
Yeah.
So
is anybody doing internet leads that is doing time blocking and the jam sessions that could maybe share what they're doing during that? I think that's a really good point for us to address.
Yeah, it's not one of the
things.
So
if anybody's doing that, yeah. Okay, so hopefully we answered your question. I don't remember who asked the question. I'm so sorry, because I don't have access to the screen. But hopefully we answered your question. If we didn't, please let us know.
And I'm not doing
but I do, I do agree with you, Dave. It is. I love your analogy of saying, you wouldn't leave that meeting. And I hate that when like a realtor does that in a meeting, when I'm meeting with them and they're picking up their phone constantly and looking at it. And do you mind if I take this call? So we have to be true to ourselves. We are.
And the realtor does that too. Whenever a realtor,
appointment.
Right. When a realtor asks you, well, I need you to answer the phone whenever I call. I'm like, well, what if I'm talking to one of the customers you referred to me? Should I hang up on them and take your call? the answer, of course, is, well, no. It's like, okay, well, so dude, I can't just answer the phone every time you call. Like, be reasonable.
And they don't know what you're doing. Yeah, they don't know what you're doing. They don't know you're doing a jam session. For all they know, you're on the phone with another client. So, you know, just be true to yourself, you know, in doing that. So listen, as we kind of wrap everything up, I think we want to just remind everybody that insane productivity through Mortgage Coach, you know, is open to everybody. So please share it with your colleagues, with your team. It would be really great for your team to get together and do sort of a debrief on, you know, a weekly basis on these calls. That would be something that would be really great, and especially if you're a branch manager. It would be great for you to all listen in and then sort of debrief each other and find out what the best practices were that came out of each of the calls. And we want to continue to grow the community, you know, as big as we can. The actionable item today, I think many of us are going to be uploading our tracking systems. Dave, you're going to put yours up there. I'm real excited to see that. I'll put mine up there as well. And then the last is just to take the time to record how you use your CRM, whatever CRM it is, so that those that don't have one will have an opportunity to see it real and live and not fabricated by a salesperson. That's so powerful for everybody, so that it doesn't, you know, take so much time for everyone. So did I miss anything, Dave?
I'd rather, no, that's a good idea. I'm glad you said that, because I don't want to hear any sales pitches. This was excellent.
Yeah.
This was excellent. Thanks, Jen. Great stuff. Great stuff. I love listening.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, everybody have a great week. We didn't get time to debrief from Mastermind, so I'll continue to take notes today. You know, I won't be able to do that while I'm speaking, but I'll take notes today, and we'll maybe get some debriefs in the next couple of weeks or so. So everybody have a great week.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Bye.